Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Kashif Abdullah. It is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020, and I am speaking to you today again about the coronavirus issue. We are still dealing with this. I've losing track of how many weeks we've gone into. I know for a fact that it's been I don't know. We've been taking it seriously here in California since about a month and about 10 months to 10 days, month and a half or so, depending on where you're in the world. Again, if you have any questions, let's see. Hello. You can ask any questions you wish, and I was going to answer some of the questions that I found on a WhatsApp group. But let me switch screens here. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's see. Hold on. And switch this to this. All right, so let me refresh this to show you the most latest data that we can get. All right, if we look, we can see, unfortunately, there is now 2.5 million total confirmed cases in the world, and the daily increases in cases, if we're looking, has essentially, hopefully plateaued. It's not going up, at least, nor is it really dropping, but it's about the same, up and down. There's really, I would say the daily increases are about flat, but we want them to go more down and down so that we can flatten this curve more to nothing. But better than nothing. So let's see. The U.S. again has the most number of cases in the world of all the countries, and that's combining Spain, Italy, France, and I think now Germany. And I think you might be able to include the United Kingdom. And the total number of deaths, unfortunately, has been now 43 some odd thousand deaths because of this disease. And I want to pause here for a quick second and speak to you again about I'm not sure if people outside of the US are aware, if you're watching this from Canada or Europe or anywhere else, but in the United States, people are beginning to lose almost focus on this issue, and people are now congregating and doing these protests saying we don't like social distancing, we want everything to open up. And I don't see why these people don't seem to understand that in order for us to stop this, we have to do these measures because we don't have effective measures such as vaccination yet, and the amount of immunity in the population has not been built up. It's a brand new virus, and I know times are tough. I say that too, but I don't understand these people. They're congregating. And at the same time, the leader of this country, of the United States, is frankly everywhere. He does not know what he's talking about. He is, it boggles my mind what he is doing. And 43,000 is insanely high. I don't know what I can compare that with. What tragedy you have to compare this with. But I can tell you this. This is worse than any war in the last, 40, 50 years that the U.S. has faced, these number of deaths. And this is, I don't understand this of, let's go back, I want my freedom. Look at this, in New York City alone, there's 14,000 people who've passed away because of this. I have family members, and I'm sure you have family members, who have passed away from this horrible disease. And this is sick. I got a whole bunch of questions here. So let me answer this. Let me just go through these and I'll answer that question. 1 second. So let me just show you the spread. Let's see. In Spain, there's a lot of spikes in increase in the number. So the general trend is down, but it's still high. In Italy, they are still steadily falling, which is good. Italy is, they're doing their best, and they were hit the hardest. But look at this. Italy has 24,000 deaths. The U.S. has double, 43,000 deaths. This is unheard of. This is just too much. France has 20,000 people passed away, and their general trend is also down. That's good. Germany has 4,000, only 5,000, which is good, and they're pulling it down. Germany's doing a really good job. United Kingdom is, well, essentially plateauing like the rest of the world essentially, but not really going down. Turkey is, well, now at least they're not increasing in cases. They're basically flat in the number of increasing number of daily cases. Iran, I don't know what's this. China, Iran and China, I frankly don't believe their numbers. And in Russia, there was a drop. That's good. So hopefully this continues, but it's been going just haywire in Russia. Belgium, same thing. Canada, well, we missed Brazil there. Brazil going up. Its general trend is up. Canada's general trend is essentially flat, goes up and down. The Canadians only have 1,800 deaths, but Canada's only 37 million people, so there's not too many Canadians. Although, anyway, let's see. Netherlands is about flat. Switzerland is actually really trending down, which is really nice. Portugal, about flat. India is going higher and has a drop recently, but I would imagine in India, just like Russia, is just going through a lot of hard times. Peru, sort of flat. Ireland is coming down nicely. Switzerland, Austria is the best in Europe. So you can see it's come down to like I think 46 or something like that yesterday. And then let's just jump real quick to South Korea, which is now again like 13 new cases, not deaths, cases only. That's crazy. 13 cases. How good they're doing. And then if we go to, I remember one of our watchers is asked about the Philippines a lot, and you'll notice in the Philippines it looks like, I will say he was asking he or she was asking if it's up or down. Now I would say, you know what? I would say the general trend is now down. So I think in the Philippines they're doing decent. I think maybe down. They're doing good. Australia, they're really controlling this very nicely. I didn't even catch that, how good Australia's doing. Let's see the questions real quick. Whoa. Someone is asking questions here. Let's see, hold on. Coronavirus is spreading through using saliva. Can it travel through water? Well, I will say no, coronavirus does not travel through water. It's not really spread by saliva. It's spread through. Thank you for the like. It is spread through respiratory droplets. So, if it is being spread through respiratory droplets, it's not being spread through water. So it's not like you cough coronavirus into a lake and then all of a sudden the lake is contaminated with coronavirus, and if you drink from the lake somehow you're going to get coronavirus. No, it's not. It doesn't travel through water, so you should be okay. Now, wet surfaces, and then like if someone's recently sneezed, and then you like a doorknob, and then you touch the doorknob and it's wet, and you touch your nose and your eyes, you can get it that way, just like the common cold. Because like I said, coronavirus is like the common cold, the way people get it. But no, it's not really spread through water per se. So we're fine there. It's a respiratory illness. It is not a airborne illness. Meaning it's not just floating in the air like you coughed once and now it's just lingering in the air and it's infecting everybody. It's not like that, nor is it waterborne. It's not being spread just by contamination of the water. Let's see. There's also questions. Is the numbers accurate? How can we trust these numbers? Well, do you know what? These numbers, how accurate are these numbers? It depends on who's giving us the numbers. And it depends on how trustworthy you think that country is in providing those numbers. So I would say if you use my own, look, I'll show you. I'll give this example, okay? So I trust South Korea, okay? I trust South Korea, and I'll use two countries, South Korea and China. I trust the South Koreans are giving me accurate data. I do not believe that they are lying about what they are doing, okay? So I trust their numbers because I believe their health officials are not lying. And if they were lying, it would be obvious. It would be obvious because all of a sudden their case numbers would be skyrocketing. Now, when it comes to China, and another reason I trust the South Koreans is because of their curve. If you look at the increases and decreases, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for a quick ramp up, and then we're looking for a sort of a drop, but a delayed drop that's giving a long tail. This is accurate data. This is not made up junk. As opposed to China, look at China. The Chinese basically want to show that they really know what they're doing. This data is nonsense, frankly. It doesn't show accurate data. It's just like, it's basically whatever the Chinese feel that they want to give of the world, frankly. I don't think anyone believes China. They want to lie about their numbers, let them. I'll give another example. I'm very, very skeptical of Iran. Those numbers or those drops are frankly too neat. Data is never clean like this. Data is like, I'll give you Canada as an example, okay? This is data, up and down, all over the place. And what we're looking for is general trends. So the Canadians' general trend is basically flat. But this is what we're looking up, big ups, drops, ups and down, depending on reporting data. And again, Iran, this is too good to be true, frankly. This sounds like bullcrap. I don't believe this for a second. So, and I don't believe China. But that's my opinion. But I'm very skeptical on these kind of things. Now, the USA, if we look at the USA, is this accurate? I would say it is. You know, this is a very large country, and at the same time, I would say there's too many entities to say otherwise, to say that this is not accurate. But look at Spain. This seems accurate. Look, you know, they're doing it, and then they have this big jump. So maybe something happened. Who knows? And then I'm just saying that. It depends on the country and who's giving me the numbers. And I'm using my own judgment. It requires your judgment. Use your judgment to determine who is what. Now, I wanted to speak to you about current news, but not really news. I had this, someone asked me a question about, let's see, let me go on. They were asking about the issue, what is the proper way to disinfect an N95 mask to be used again? Okay, so I literally go straight to the CDC, and in the US, this is our most trustworthy set of information. Now, yes, there has been other political issues with the CDC and what have you, but in general, this is the most trustworthy. As now, if someone has other examples, like maybe the WHO, I've not seen them, but I usually use the CDC and the WHO as my trusted source in news. If I go to if I just put in Corona News to Google, and there's all sorts of these articles. Frankly, each article and each person giving this article, I have my own biases. Like if someone says, if something from Fox News something, I frankly don't believe jack squat. I don't believe it at all. But if it's the New York Times, I'm more apt to recognize it as legitimate. But at the same time, they're a private corporation and they have their own little things. It's, you know, it's just like what they teach you in university, in college, that you have to be a critical viewer or a critical judge of the information that you're given, and try to determine how accurate is this. Use your own brain when you know, and news outlets like Fox News has a track record of disinformation, frankly. CNBC has a business tinge. CNN is a business as well, and the New York Times is just a business. But you know, New York Times in the U.S. is a more oftenly read things. But when it comes to trying to get raw data or hard data, I'm gonna go to more trusted information, such as government websites, to some degree, but the CDC or the WHO. Now let's see. I wanted to. So in regards to the reason I went on that was, someone asked about N95 use. Now, if you read through the data, this is basically given for physicians and nurses in the healthcare setting about reusing. And what they're basically saying is, if you go through it, they are saying if the N95 mask is soiled in any manner, meaning if there's any blood or active liquid or something, you got to throw it away. But you can also use like surgical masks to cover it. And they also mention how not to touch the inside of the mask and how to keep the mask sort of separate, or you can use other barriers to reuse those masks. So I'll tell you what I do is I use an N95 mask and then I have a surgical mask over that. And I've been able to use that N95 mask for about a week to 2 weeks, and then you have to switch it out. So I would say, if you have to, the N95 mask, just don't try to contaminate the inside with your fingers. Just if you're going to use it all the time, try to just touch it on the outside, or just touch it by the drawstrings on the side of your head. Don't try to touch the inside of the mask. And like I said, there's safe N95 reuse is affected by a number of variables that impact the respiratory functions and contamination over time. Manufacturers have specific guidelines, la di da. So you have to read those things. But many of the ways they advise people to reduce contamination or contract is discarding the N95 mask if there's aerosolized procedures. So if you're doing something that makes a lot of like nebulization, if you give someone a nebulizer, that may make the N95 masks more um, you have to discard them. But a lot of these things that they're describing, you would only do in a healthcare setting. You in a average out and about going to a store, would not encounter these kind of issues. So I would say maybe just having a surgical mask over it and try not touching the insides, and then changing the surgical mask more frequently than the N95 mask. Let's see. But I would guide you, or I would have you come to the CDC website and literally just put in N95 or reuse. Let's see. Someone mentioned, I was reading this, someone mentioned leaving the sun. No, the sun is not going to disinfect an N95 mask. The sun's not going to do any of that kind of sort of things. It's not going to destroy the coronavirus like that. No, you cannot just leave it in the sun. Now, let's see. Someone asked me about a physician, Dr. Rashad Buttar, about fake pandemic numbers and all sorts of other issues. I sort of so here this is the website of the person, and I went straight to his website, and it if frankly, I'll tell you this. This sounds like this is an ad. This is a guy selling stuff. So it's him selling stuff. Okay. So someone gave me an article about this, and this is I want you to. This is a part of critical judgment that I think is necessary. So let me go to this article. Okay, it looks like it's on. Where was it on YouTube? I think if we put a YouTube search for this person, I'll show you. And I want to. There's a reason why I'm addressing this, because this is part of you using critical knowledge and trying to determine. Let's see. Dr. Rashad Buttar. Okay, where is he? And there it is. This is the article in general, or this is one of the articles where they're talking about Bill Gates is a liar and this and that. And I think this is the original article, or original YouTube. So this is it that I found online, that the people were presenting to. And okay, anytime you see somebody, look it up. Literally, he gives his website. Okay, fine. I went straight to his website. Right? Here's his website. And his website, and I didn't go to exactly this website at NNN. Why should I do that? I don't need to. I went straight to his website, his beginning homepage. What is he all about? Right? He's asking him, basically, if you look at it, look, he's trying to sell you a book. Okay, I don't need to read this junk, frankly, because I can see 2 books and he's trying to sell them, and valued at $2,500. Yeah, I'm sure a book is valued $2,000. That's called nonsense. No book is valued $2,000. It's not some collectible. And webinars, and he wants your personal information, and then these oddball testimonials of I don't know who these people are, and all sorts of Facebook posts. Yippee. This is where you have to use your own judgment. And just because it says Dio, which is a physician, it's a doctor, right? And he has reputable degrees from various universities. That's one thing. You got to look at what they're trying to say. Look, he's trying to sell you something, okay? And then if you frankly, I was listening to this talk that he gave, and it sounds like nonsense. It's all over the place. It's nonsense. It's like frankly right-wing talking points he's yammering at me. And I'm like, how are you a doctor? Frankly, this is ridiculous. So let's see what else. But yeah, I don't know what to say about this man. I think that be very critical of what you have, of what you read on the internet, especially Facebook. Facebook is just, yeah. Someone was asking, what is your opinion about that, and I can tell you my opinion is this is junk. And you can please discuss the next live session. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, be wary of what you read online. Use your own judgment. Don't be just, oh, it's, Let's see. How are COVID deaths compared to usual deaths? For example, COVID 100 deaths in a city versus how many other deaths? So I think what you're trying to ask here is the mortality rate or the fatality rate, or how bad is COVID versus other things in a city versus how many other deaths? So, okay. If you're trying to figure out, this may be what you're trying to figure out is COVID-19 as bad as, say, the flu? Or is it as bad as car accidents? Or is it, and I've heard these similarities, okay? And I'll tell you this much, okay. When COVID-19 was first starting, I was also along the lines of, well, I don't know too much about this, but flu is pretty dangerous too, in the general scheme of things. Many people die of flu. But it's like this. Okay, if 100 people anywhere in a city were to get the flu, maybe like one person will die, two people will die. I'm making up the numbers, but about that. That's basically the percentages. Whereas COVID-19 will be like 10 people died, or 12 people died, and who would really affected was the elderly. So what I'm trying to get at is this is much more lethal than, say, flu. And it's a false analogy to say, oh, so many people die because of car accidents, so many people die because of muggings, and so many people die versus this in a city. How many people are going to catch a car accident from their neighbor? How many people are going to catch like a falling piano? You don't. This is a disease that is transmitted from person to person. This is a pandemic. You get this from just people getting. You don't get this just from oopsie daisy. Happenstance. This happens, and frankly, a lot of those statistics are nonsense. And a lot of what's given in public health is there to protect you. This is not something. Think about it. Why would we why would we try to hurt ourselves and hurt our like? Why would doctors say, okay, there's all these problems, do social distancing? This hurts people coming to us. Physicians and public health officials, we can't go about and go to we can't go to a electronic store to buy stuff. We can't go about and watch movies. We can't do everything else everyone can't do. So we're not just playing games here. This is for the general health. It's part of our job. Hopefully, as reputable health clinicians, we're giving you that information. Let's see what else it says here. Let's take New York City for example. How many deaths did we have in a day before COVID? Oh, you know what? Here, I'll give you the example of this. Okay. Well, the number of deaths from, say, cancer didn't change. Were the exact same as they were then as they are now. And actually, now they may be a little bit worse because people are going to the doctor less often. So COVID-19 is just another layer of difficulty. So to say that COVID-19 is worse than cancer, or it's worse than the flu, or it's worse than this, or it's not, or the flu is worse than this, or cancer is worse than this, or automobile accidents are worse than this. Yeah, but those things never changed. So the flu number, and also regarding flu and things like this, our immune systems have been normalized to this. We expected, our bodies have antibodies to this. We get vaccines for this, flu shots. Oh, by the way, the flu shot will not give you a positive COVID-19. I've read that somewhere. That's called bullcrap. That makes no sense. The COVID-19 tests that we're doing are DNA tests. DNA of COVID-19 is completely different from a flu shot, and a flu shot is going to create antibodies. Antibodies and a virus are two different things. So that's nonsense that the flu shot is going to make you test positive for COVID-19. No, it will not. That's nonsense. I don't know who came up with this, because one test for the flu shot, you're going to create antibodies, and the COVID-19 test is a DNA test. like I said, DNA and antibodies are two different things. DNA is DNA. Antibodies are actually protein. So, um, but I will say that uh, this is contagious, and this is something that we should not just, oh, it's okay. And this, and I will say this, that um, if you read people saying, "Oh, the COVID-19 is causing less prob is fake or something," there's too much data. There's too much information. How many people don't? I would say most people know people who have passed away because of this COVID-19 thing. This is not some game. This is not a lie. This is not some conspiracy theory that the whole world government is cooked up, saying that, oh, let's do this. This is something to be serious. And frankly, I'll say this: the stuff you read in Facebook, on Twitter, and on the internet in general, without um, a very I would say a discerning eye, can be easily, you can be swayed anywhere. Don't let other people sway you. Use your judgment. If your judgment says it's a hoax, I will say this: you would have to better be right that it's not a hoax, because if it's not, COVID-19 or a virus in general doesn't care if you believe in it or don't. It's like saying a meteor is going to hit the earth, and I don't care if the meteor hits the earth because I believe the earth. I'm going to pray the meteor away. I'm a religious person. But at the same time, I'm not someone who's going to pray away COVID 19. I'm not going to pray away, like if someone tells me it's going to rain like tomorrow and there's all the indications that rain, and I'm not going to bring it rain. I'm not going to bring an umbrella. That'll be nonsense. Maybe I'll luck out and it won't rain. I don't need the umbrella, but I have it. Same thing here. Um, don't play with this. This is something to, Um, and I would hope most physicians are in the same vein as this. And if anyone ever says this is a hoax, conspiracy theories are very easy to cook up and fun to read. But when it comes to your health, don't be, oh, it's okay. And family members, all sorts of family members have all sorts of conspiracy theories, especially in my family. I hear all sorts of things, and I shake my head and said, no, that's not the case. So, um, you know, take it day by day, and of course, use your own judgment. At the end of the day, you need to be responsible for yourself as well. Um, so basically, we've gone beyond the 1 o'clock time point. But let's see. I did have a PowerPoint about migraines that I was going to talk about, but I think we're coming out of time. That's something I can talk about later, next time. But if anyone has any questions, like I said, I'm here from usually 12:30 to 1 o'clock, just to let you know. Sometimes I will be late. I'll come in like around maybe 12:40, but I will try to be there somewhere along this time point. And I'm going beyond 1 o'clock right now. It's 1:11 in the Pacific Coast, on the on the west side. So uh, I try to consistently be here. If you have any family members that you want to ask questions, or I'm here. I'm trying to do this as oh, you're welcome. I'm trying to be as consistent as possible, and I'm here in the weekdays. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments, or you can direct message me. And if I work in the Bay Area. If anyone lives in the Bay Area, San Jose, San Francisco area, I'm a physician here. So, but yeah, try to help as many people as I can, and I'll just keep it as up. And I'll try to put another topics at the end if we sort of run out of time, or I have more time than necessary. I'll talk about things maybe like this migraine thing I was going to talk about. But yeah, this is Dr. Kashif Abdullah, and signing off. And I thank you very much. Bye bye.